welcome to SVG-TV's news for Friday, July 28th, 2023. I'm Triska Campbell with the details. Cabinet has approved a number of initiatives which are set to kickstart some major projects. At a news conference earlier today at Cabinet's room, Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves said in North Windward, Cabinet has approved the acquisition and compensation of 4 properties to rebuild the God Save the Queen Bridge at Overland, and approval was also given for the purchase of properties and compensation for those who have to be relocated as a result of the construction coastal sea defense in Sandy Bay. Approval was also granted for the contract to the OECC for the construction of a number of roads amounting to 31.78 million EC dollars to be done over a 24-month period. Prime Minister Gonsalves also announced that there will be an income support package for 237 Arud farmers at a total cost of EC $401,000. He said this is being provided due to the volcanic eruption and the delayed completion of the Arud factory at Orange Hill. Cabinet also agreed to do some restorative work at the Brighton Beach, which includes the purchase of 6 picnic tables and table sets to expand seating. Dr. Gonsalves said the government plans to rebuild the structures and rebuild it better, reiterating that the demolition of the structures was unauthorized.
The entity which carried out the demolition does not have authority over that particular facility. That's any orders for those purposes, purely as a narrow technical legal point, should have been the planning authority. And that's why I said from Morocco that the state cannot act like a bandit. And if any official on behalf of the state acts in a manner prejudicial to the common good, and if any official acts in a manner which is entirely unauthorized, the state will take corrective measures. For those who want to apply the falsehood that, oh, Carlos and Camilo knew about it and it's only because of some outcry, I mean, that's rubbish, absolute rubbish. Or that foreigners, some foreign person was going to get down there. Absolute rubbish. Anybody who's talking that, saying that, they're notorious liars. Absolutely notorious liars. Persons with political interest may peddle those lies. All I can do is to emphasize the truth. And persons have known me all over the years, and I'd complain and talk to you.
The Prime Minister also noted that they were expected to finalize today at Cabinet their decision in relation to a memorandum of understanding for scholarships offered by the Monroe College of St. Lucia and the approval of at least 1,000 tuition scholarships.
I told you in the budget that we had put aside $42 million for post-secondary and university education. Yesterday, we approved a raft of persons who have national scholarships, national exhibitions, and bursaries for their specific studies coming up in September, sent to us by the Chief Personnel Office. They had been awarded the scholarship, but we have to give the approval of the specific subjects and the specific schools, because they involve, some of them involve some financial arrangements other than that which is provided for the specific areas, particularly some who go into universities outside of the Caribbean. And that is this today. This is young people. You hear me? And you go through the list, the overwhelming majority are from the sons and daughters of the working people and the peasantry. inside of here, empowering young people. Remember the days when you could have just counted them on two hands the number of people who were going away to university? You remember those days? You're lucky if you get them on two hands. The national scholarships used to be these. It went to that, then it went to that when we arrived. Didn't fill one hand. No. You know, we gave 70-something last year based on the results. You used to have 100 people, 150 people graduating for community college. It's nearly 700 you had a month ago. I don't want you to listen to what people say, you know. I want you to take your own two eyes and watch. Just like how the Hebrew Bible urged that we must do. And this is a project which this government did initiate. These applications are set. This is what the public servants sent for us. They're going to be approved today. There are going to be hundreds of them. These are young people again.
Dr. Gonsalves said the cabinet also took the decision to establish a Prime Ministerial Advisory Council on youth up to the age of 35, which will be chaired by budget analyst Anson Lachman, who is a former national scholar and a national cricketer.
Young man who has come from the bowels of the working people in the rural area of this country. There is going to be a core, and we have the names. I wouldn't announce the names today when we have a launch before the end of August. Other persons, and we are having separate chairpersons for each of the following sectors: the professions, agriculture, culture, sports, education, health, IT, tourism, fisheries, climate change, housing, grenadines, creative industries, business and entrepreneurship, labor, and the media. Other sectors may well be added. In other words, the advisory council will consist of a core plus the chair of these bodies, so it will be over 20 persons.
Meanwhile, Prime Minister Gonsalves said there will also be some alterations in the governance agreements or arrangements, as announced that Senator Rashad Baller will demit office in August and will assume the position of Director of Communications in the Office of the Prime Minister. Baller's senatorial position will be taken up by lawyer Shakel Bob, who will also serve as parliamentary secretary to have oversight in the Office of the Prime Minister of Prime Ministerial Advisory Council on Youth. Between
the Prime Minister's office and the youth. She will have other duties too, but this would be a central duty of hers. A 30-year-old lawyer, a mother, a young lady who has already distinguished herself in all activities that she has engaged and comes from the bowels of the working people, from the Maracua Valley, another child of the education revolution. And I repeat, I am very honored and pleased and blessed to have been someone who have worked with the generation above me. Sir Vincent Beach, Sir James Mitchell worked with persons of my generation, molding the generation below me. Camilo, Carlos, Sabuto. And then, for example, Orlando Brewster and so on, and then going to the generation even below that one now, the generation of Camilo. Well, Orlando is the generation below too. To go to Benava Brown. In other words, we're dealing with the leadership into the second half of the 21st century. What a fantastic blessing that the good Lord has expressed to the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines has given to Comrade Ralph.
In terms of security, the Prime Minister said he held a 3-hour-long meeting yesterday with the top brass of the RSVG police force, and a number of practical matters were dealt with. He assured citizens that in addition to the existing ramping up of works being done by the police, they will see further activities. Treachery fishers from the North Leeward constituency are now better equipped to store their catch on any given day. Yesterday, Thursday, July 28th, Minister of Agriculture and Fisheries, Saboto Caesar, handed over 21 freezers to groups of treaty fishers in the North Leeward district. A news release from the Agency for Public Information said Minister Caesar noted the hard work of the treaty fishers and expressed his pleasure in being able to provide the fishers with storage capacity for their catch. Chief Fisheries Officer Jennifer Cruikshank Howard said that the freezers were sourced under the endangered project of the UNDP. She expressed her gratitude to the UNDP on behalf of the government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Howard went on to say that the North Leeward district normally fishes in groups, hence the freezers were donated for the groups rather than for individual storage capacity. The special events to be held at Victoria Park on Emancipation Day on August 1st, 2023 will not only mark the 50th anniversary celebration of the Caribbean community CARICOM, but is also an investment in the creatives in St. Vincent and the Grenadines and the wider Caribbean. This is according to Minister of Tourism and Culture Carlos James, who outlined some of the local and regional artists who will be performing at the special event.
And on August 1st is an embodiment of that, an investment in our youth. A lot of the performances and the production teams and all of the local artisans will be fully immersed for the display of the Vincentian and our CARICOM colleagues and the region. They have started rehearsals for a few weeks now and going into 2 a.m. at mornings and back at 7:30 at mornings, rehearsing to ensure that we have a very wonderful production to showcase on August 1st. As the Prime Minister indicated, we have identified some artists from the region. North in Jamaica, Luciano and Jamil will be coming with their full backing band. And we go south to Trinidad, where we'll have Isasha and a few of the other artists coming in, Prophet Benjamin. And across the pond, we have from Barbados, Alison Hines will be coming over. Talpri from Grenada.
John King coming.
And John King as well from Barbados will be coming to be a part of that. And of course, our local acts, the Prime Minister outlined the cast. We have published the number of the names, but we're talking the era of Pose and Beckett will be featuring, and moving from that point to James P. Kevin Little, internationally renowned Kevin Little, to the period of Fireman Hooper and of course Skinny Fabulous, and the emerging youth, Just Bus Camp and a number of other young persons, Grabber Finesse, who will all showcase and JR, who will also showcase their creativity.
The minister said along with the various artists scheduled to perform, there will be performances from dance groups and drummers from across the regions.
Importantly, we have a massive production from all of the dance companies of joined forces. A 30-strong dance contingent will be displaying a number of creative aspects, not just of our local Vincentian culture, but also the regional display of the creativity of the Caribbean islands. That will be on full display, of course, along with the Drum Foundation, a number of the creatives who are part of the Drum Foundation across the entire country. The event starts at 2 p.m. with a kids fair, and we're ensuring that it's a full family event, as it's dubbed One Family. And so we are asking the parents and the children to come out from 2 p.m. where we have a kids fair, which will run until about 5 when we start the official event on the day itself. So from 5 p.m. we're expecting to see the start of the actual event on Stateside, and will run likely into 10, 11 that evening. But it's a very packed, tight production, and we're encouraging persons, particularly the public transportation system, the van men, it's a holiday. We were encouraging you to put on your transportation so we can get people coming to and from Victoria Park on August 1st, because we're hoping to have a full cultural celebration.
Admission to the event on Emancipation Day is free, and families are encouraged to attend and partake in the festivities, which have been deemed as a celebration of Caribbean unity and progress. Accidental ingestion of substances are often recorded by the pediatrics unit at the Milton Cato Memorial Hospital during the summer vacation. This is according to pediatrician Dr. Joy Walters, who on NBC Radio Today urged parents to keep a close eye on their children during the school summer vacation.
Just because probably somebody took their eye off the child for one split second, and it goes back to which child we're dealing with. A toddler, you would not leave a toddler unattended for very long. Why? Toddlers are in the phase where they touch, they grab, they want everything in their mouths. They want to stick their finger in every hole. Your outlets, your hot irons, the stove, the knives, all of these things. So ingestion is one of the main ones. We also have incidences of near drowning experiences, especially in this time. Everybody is going to the beach. Sometimes the parent doesn't even know the child, just ran away and went to the beach anyway, although you say don't go to the beach, right? And that is where also I want to stress community efforts in helping to keep our children safe. If it's a field trip, make sure your child is going in a group where there is proper supervision, right? So, and your adolescents, don't flight them as well, you know. We might be thinking, oh, it's just the little ones we have to keep an eye on. Adolescents, they go through phases, and they have mood swings, they have their moments of wanting to explore everything. They might go to the beach, yes, and they know they cannot swim, but because friends are there, and the moment they lose their footing in that water, it's trouble.
Right.
You understand? So you have to ensure that you teach your child where there is danger, those that can understand the danger, stress it to them all the time.
Dr. Walters said parents and guardians should also teach children how to safeguard themselves from dangers and to avoid things which can lead to harm or even death.
Mentioned before, there are potential dangers. So, for example, you mentioned a 10-year-old. So at that stage, they're fully capable of understanding some dangers, right? So being home, if you know you did not teach your child to light a stove, for example, and yet you leave the matches there, you leave the gas on, you just have everything there, and you say, okay, you just fix something to eat.
Right.
Of course, they're going to make an attempt probably to light that stove. And at the end of the day, you may end up sorry you did that.
Right.
Because in the first place, so the thing is, you have to teach them how, that's the other point I wanted to mention. You have to teach them how to protect themselves. Because you can tell them, okay, I'm just going out there for a while. If this person comes, for example, you can answer the person, you know, we know the person, you already know how to deal with that. For example, I'm leaving this, you give that to the person, for example, as opposed to maybe a stranger shows up in the yard. Your child, you have to already tell your child, okay, this stranger doesn't belong here. You either call me, that's another thing. You keep the lines of communication open with your child, especially in the event that you leave the child home alone, which is not advisable, especially at that age. And especially if you know there are these potential dangers hanging around.
Meanwhile, District Medical Officer Dr. Alicia Bunady noted on radio recently that the Ministry of Health, Wellness and the Environment saw an uptick in cases of influenza following the carnival activities.
We saw in circulation was influenza B, This is one is highly contagious, as he mentioned. So we're sitting in the room here. We are still 6 feet apart, you know, so we're still protecting ourselves. Definitely seeing a lot of cases come into the clinics. Cough, cold, sore throats, fever. Doc, I have no appetite. I don't know what's happening to me. Body aches, pains. We have to increase the testing, because for these ones, we would empirically treat them, or we would just make a clinical diagnosis. Okay, you have the flu. Here's your 5-day sick leave. Go home. You know, treat yourself. There's no cure for the flu. Never has been. Never will be. As you say, it's a virus, so it's always replicating. So that's why it's so difficult to find a cure for these viruses. They're always replicated. They're always changing their DNA. So it's very, very hard to find a cure. So in terms of the treatment, of course, we're going to tell you, okay, do your own little thing at home first. See what can happen. You know, hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. You'll be surprised the amount of help water can do to your body. Right? Hydrate. Getting your 3 liters of water. So those mountaintop waters, or if that's an ad for them, if those bottled waters, try to get in at least 2 of those. You know, because 1.5 liters in one, 2 of those equal 3 liters of water. Some coconut water. Hydrate yourself. Get your electrolytes in, your fruits, your watermelon, vitamin C, cantaloupe. You know, these are the things that I would tell you. And of course, if you notice you're trying your little home remedies and, you know, it's not working out, I mean, you should seek medical attention.
Meanwhile, Dr. Bundy said cases of COVID-19 continue to be recorded and urged persons with chronic illnesses to take the necessary precautions.
It isn't going anywhere. It is here. We're in the post-pandemic era, so what you call them here now again, the public health authorities would have declared that the pandemic, you know, might have been over. But just like influenza A and influenza B, it is now pretty much endemic. It is always going to be here. And as you see, we're coming out of this seasonal time where there was a lot of mass gathering, post-festival activities. So we're just letting the public know that we continue our surveillance of COVID-19. We're continuing our testing. Just in my district this week, I would have seen a few cases turn up positive. We have a few hospitalized as well. So I am here to heighten, you know, our sensitivity still. It's here. We are still advised, especially if you're amongst the high-risk groups, washing your hands, using your sanitizers, avoiding mass gatherings, social distancing.
Dr. Bundy also encouraged institutions and health centers to continue to maintain good sanitation practices.
I agree. We have definitely seen what we call letting our guards down. So that's why I am here to emphasize that we should get our guards back up. Right? That's why I am here today, to highlight the fact that healthcare workers, health institutions, let's maintain the sanitizing, the same how we were doing when we were in the peak of the pandemic. Let's maintain that. Let's get the wipes. Let's get our 70% alcohol. Continue wiping on all the stations.
And if you could say, have mine all there.
Exactly, exactly. Ensuring persons sanitize before they enter. This is the new era. This is the new lifestyle that we have to adopt and we have to maintain. We can't just let our guards down. Other than that, we're going to get back to where we were. And I show everybody enjoys the freedom now of being able to at least interact with persons face to face and not online. So if we don't, we will, and I mean, this is how these pandemics go. They go around in a cycle. So that last one took about maybe 100 years. Might not be in our lifetime, but if we want to prevent further ones, we have to find a way to get this virus out.
6 students of the Kingston Preparatory School who were successful at the 2023 Caribbean Primary Exit Examination (CPEA) have been awarded bursaries from the KPS 1978 Inc. The bursaries were handed over yesterday at the school. Speaking at the handing over ceremony, alumni of the Kingston Preparatory School, Jasmine Francois Crease, gave an overview of the bursaries, noting that 2 students will receive the Colin Liverpool Memorial Grant and Michelle Samuel Memorial Grant will be eligible for a scholarship once they maintain good averages at secondary school.
Are committed to supporting our awardees. Okay? We will be monitoring the progress of the receivers of these 2 awards in terms of academic progress and conduct. Once your academic progress Abigail and Janessa, once you keep at that, you will be upgrading both of these awards to full 5-year scholarships beginning next year. Now, initially, our plan was to grant one grant of $1,000. There were 6 applicants, all of whom we felt were deserving of some form of assistance. So the decision was taken by the group to award 2 $1,000 grants this year that will become scholarships next year, because I know you are going to work well, right? And we felt that the other 4 persons deserved some form of assistance, so the decision was taken to give 4 registration grants of $400.
Chris encouraged the bursary awardees to stay focused and to continue to excel in their educational journey.
On a journey, there will be challenges. Not going to be a bed of roses. It's going to be hard, right? It's lovely to get to secondary school, but you're going to be looking back and say, kind of miss primary school. It's going to be challenging, right? But you can overcome these challenges. Focus. Focus. Hold on to what you learned at our alma mater, right? Treasure also those friendships you made. Treasure them. They're actually important. In our group, we have friendships going back over 50 years, okay? So we hang out on Zoom every 2 weeks with persons that we have known since we were 5 years old. Parents, continue to encourage and support these lovely young people. They're going to at times push back. Through it all, continue to be their rock. I know the other members of KPS are available to provide emotional support to these young people. We are willing to be a part of their village.
Senior Education Officer Joycelyn Blake Brown, who also addressed the handing over ceremony, thanked the members of the KPS 1978 Inc. for rewarding the students for their academic excellence.
You have heard the historical background presented by Mrs. Crease. So I hope sometime in the future you are going to be in their position. Not only are you going to continue the academic legacy of Kingston Preparatory School, but you are also going to give back one day. I remember when I graduated, when I did my first degree and I graduated, I remember the feature speaker. I always remember what he said. You must always look back. Look back and help somebody behind. And that is exactly what KPS Incorporated is doing. And students, that is what I'm saying to you now. Someday you are going to be giving back to somebody. So you will continue the legacy so that this prestigious organization will be sustainable. First and foremost, students, I want to congratulate you on your performance in the Caribbean Exit Primary Assessment. Now that was just the beginning, right? I know there's always room for improvement, and even looking back on your own performance, you may be thinking, I should have done better. You will have an opportunity to do better.